Созвездие, куда бы вы ни шли, каких трудностей бы жизнь вам не подкидывала, помните, что для вас всегда будет место среди звезд на ночном небе Тайвата. Что, простите? Да типа, если мы сдохнем, что ли? Звучит как-то интересно просто. Всем привет, с вами Аленка. Сегодня продолжается квест Джун Ли в игре Genshin Impact. О боже мой! Уху! Вау! Слева тупик, в принципе, как всегда. Мамочки мои, это было неожиданно, простите. Я не ожидала. Тихонько дальше идем. Интересно, кто ничего-нибудь говорить собирается? О, сундук! Внезапно я на него наткнулась тут в кустах. Ух ты! Ой! Очень реалистичная статуя, будто сделана из соли. Мамочки мои.
Are these statues?
No. These are people.
Duh.
They were probably followers of the god of salt.
How did they become this way?
What in the world is hidden deep in this ruin?
А с этой стороны? А здесь не забраться, да? А вот так? Ой-ой. Косяк. Неважно. Ладно, идем правильно. Ну-ка, ну-ка. Ой, тут еще несколько таких. Что это?
Look at this. It's filled halfway with salt.
It just looks like a fancy salt holder. Seems like the god of salt was a god lacking in treasures.
According to my knowledge, it's no ordinary vessel. Although it is only half full, it is also forever half full. That is to say, it is bottomless.
What? You're saying that even if I pour the salt out, the amount inside won't change?
Exactly.
Able to produce endless salt. The god of salt is powerful indeed.
Finally.
Допустим.
After all that effort, I've found precious...
Ой, да ё-моё, игра, тебе надо было именно сейчас это сделать. Спасибо. Вот так и живем, да.
I just need to pour the endless salt into 1,000 or 10,000 bags. I can sell it and make a fortune!
Hey, how can you use a relic of the god of salt for such a shallow pursuit?
If Mr. Clement wants this salt chalice, then the next object we find will belong to Miss Wanyan, according to the contract agreed upon.
Of course, as we agreed. But how can anything be worth more than this rare find?
Since we have a contract, it's no use for me to fight with him.
Then let's move on, shall we?
Реально работает, смотри, не ругаются. Хотя тоже много разговаривали. Застыл в позе полное почтение. Он напуган? Ну да, понятное дело. Херечур тут тусят, у них весело. Танц, пляски. Градусник какой-то.
Just a simple ruler. It doesn't look to be worth anything.
This, if I remember correctly, this is some kind of measuring tool.
Indeed. But the god of salt imbued it with another power. When you stick this ruler in the ground, the surrounding area will become covered in salt, much like a rising tide covers the earth. The deeper it is stuck in the ground, the more salt will appear. It is essentially a bumper harvest of salt.
What? That's even better than the salt chalice!
Well then, according to our contract, the salt ruler goes to Miss Wanyan.
No, unacceptable. I paid for and organized this entire expedition. Why should I get the short end of the stick?
Ты запарила.
And this girl has been useless. Why would she get anything?
Так мы же договорились.
Boy, here we go again.
So you are saying you want to break the contract?
Чувак, не надо. Перед тобой бор контрактов. Я бы не рисковала.
So what if I break it? Now that I've seen how the mechanisms in this ruin work, I no longer need you. Let's not forget who hired who here. Why should I let you make the rules?
Удачи.
Because you agreed to a contract. Rex Lapis once said, "Ones who break their contracts shall suffer the wrath of the rock."
That is one of your Liyue gods. I am from Snezhnaya. I
will suffer the wrath of the rock. You may find it rather unpleasant.
Драться будем? Уху! Сейчас получишь по щам. Давай, пиши, молодец. Уху! Сейчас мы тебе наваляем как следует. Будешь хорошо себя вести.
I shall confiscate your treasure as well. You are not worthy to continue any further into the ruin. Leave this place.
Oh, darn you! Just you wait.
Some archaeological survey. He could only pretend for so long.
Надеюсь, ты никогда не станешь такой жадиной, как он, Пайман.
Hey, Paimon likes Mora, but Paimon doesn't do bad things.
Правильно, продолжай в том же духе, молодец.
Clement's wrongdoing stemmed from greed, yes. But besides greed, there are many other things that may tempt us to break contracts. When people see the object of their dreams, how many are really able to control their desire and follow the contract? I think we should be honest with each other now.
Huh? Be honest about what?
That in truth, not a single member of this archaeological expedition came here for archaeology.
Why do you say that?
Miss, you lack even the most basic archaeological knowledge and can recognize naught but a few simple relics. However, you are an expert when it comes to anything regarding the god of salt. You aren't interested in archaeology or relics. What you're really interested in is the god of salt. I believe those legends about the god of salt that you mentioned on the Pearl Galley are passed down between generations at Yinyuan Hall.
Okay, that's enough. Sir, you are indeed a man of great knowledge and talents. I seem to have been right to seek you out once I plucked up my courage. You're right. I'm not a scholar of archaeology. I come from one of the 8 trades under the jurisdiction of the Chising, Yinyuan Hall of the salt industry. Our ancestors were those protected by the god of salt all those years ago, when the Archon War engulfed the land in chaos.
Oh, right. Now that you mention it, the people of Lea very seldom use the name Morax.
During the war, Morax assassinated our god out of envy for her power. He left us alone and lost in the world. We hate him! But this is Morax's Lea after all, and its history is written as he wishes. So I seek proof of Morax's guilt. He has blood on his hands and cruelty in his heart.
Ты посмотри на эту моську. Как об этой моське можно так говорить? Ты шо, а?
We agreed to a contract that we will face the truth head on, didn't we, Mr. Zhongli? You must judge this history fairly.
Naturally, of course. But I must add, Lea is no longer Morax's Lea. Come with me. All the answers you seek lie ahead.
Понимаете, в Джун Ли я точно так же, как и в Венти, очень хорошо уверена как раз в связи с тем, кем он является. В Венти я уверена из-за того, что он бог свободы, и он очень хорошо придерживается того, что все должны быть свободны и делать свой выбор. А Джун Ли, он идеально придерживается контрактов. Он пальцем лишний раз не пошевелит, если с ним не заключить контракта. Тем более меня немножко удивляет, когда таких персонажей, собственно, как Венти, Джун Ли, как боги, когда их осуждают, судят абсолютно посторонние люди. Люди, которые не прожили, как они, 1000 лет. 1000, вы вдумайтесь в это количество. И уж тем более, почему бы им не совершать ошибки? О, тут что-то еще есть. Куча очень расстроенных чубриков здесь. Почему они расстроены? То есть, вот эти все чубрики, они погибли, получается, неожиданно. Они видели, что кто-то их собирается уничтожить. Но учитывая, что они все в соли, это же получается тогда... Давайте сейчас подеремся и посмотрим, что будет дальше.
The power of
Ой,
this
простите.
sword surely is much greater than that of the salt chalice and salt ruler. If we can repair the sword, then we can show the world the mighty power of the god of salt.
Зачем?
Does look like something left behind after being defeated in battle.
2 pieces of a broken sword. From an archaeological perspective, these are 2 separate relics. According to the contract, you can only claim one.
Why? We were alternating claims to treasure, true, but Clement is no longer here.
Yes, but the only one object per claim clause still holds true. You cannot take 2 relics at the same time.
This logic!
Zhongli, she seems like a good person, and no one is fighting over the treasure. How about you let this one slide, huh?
When there's a contract, nothing can be allowed to slide. If the contract is not followed, then it is broken.
Вот вы все тут присутствующие, вы можете понять, что вы разговариваете с богом контрактов, не надо с ним спорить. Если он один раз нарушит контракт, другой раз нарушит контракт, то кто тогда и как их должен соблюдать?
No! If I only take one
Да
half, then
ё-моё.
it can't be repaired, and the power of the god of salt cannot be restored.
Да лася на
No
тебе.
matter what, I must be faithful to her. Even if it breaks the contract, I
О
don't
боже,
care.
фанатики всякие.
So you are already decided? Then there is a price to pay for breaking the contract.
Да ладно
That
тебе.
is to say, you consign yourself to suffer the wrath of the rock.
That's okay. The god of salt gave up her life to protect her people. My sacrifice is nothing compared to that. Punish me however you want. Just let me take this proof of my faith.
No, you can't hit her!
О,
Perhaps that punishment would be easier for her. But, as punishment, I will tell you the truth.
Huh? The truth? You mean the truth is my punishment?
Yes. The truth that I am about to tell you shall be your price to pay for breaking the contract.
рассказывай,
I'm
я ж тут
afraid to
помру от
say that the
нетерпения.
god of salt, Havria, was not the powerful god you imagine her to be. Rather, she was a small and weak god who yielded to all other gods.
Логично, блин, соль всего лишь.
When it came to war, she lost, never able to win a seat among the seven.
What?
During the Archon War, the gods of this world used all their strength and cunning to vie for control of Tevat. But Havria instead chose to flee. She thought that by giving up before a fight could start, she could save herself and her people from the war. However, during such a long war, there is no end to the advances of aggressors. After making countless concessions, Havria lost all of her lands, until only one small haven remained.
No. No! It can't be so.
In her last days, she had not even a single blade to defend her people with.
Not even a single blade? Then... this sword...
This sword is not a relic belonging to the god of salt, but is instead the murder weapon used to kill her.
Ой.
Murder weapon? No! That's not true! That can't be true! You're trying to test my faith in the god of salt!
As I said before, I only state the facts.
Preposterous! You are a follower of Morax! Don't try to trick me!
Погоди, не убейся там.
Hey, come back!
Чё, реально? Так и было?
Indeed. Otherwise, why would I use the truth as punishment? I did not want to tell her such cruel facts. But the contract was broken.
А почему тут все в
Let's
соли?
follow her deeper into the ruin. There, I fear, we will find something that will leave her no choice but to face the truth.
Оу, вообще мои. Жестко, ребята.
Are these
Ой.
statue thingies
Ай-яй-яй.
running?
Блин.
What will we find ahead?
Salt and betrayal.
Соль и предательство? Бегут, умоляют. В чем дело? Ребят, что за кипиш? Бежал изо всех сил, чувствуя что-то ужасное. Угу. Ну, вообще, в реальной жизни тоже история показывает, что правитель не может быть добрым, потому что тогда им все воспользуются и сместят его.
What are all these? What did they see? What did they do? What happened?
Since you do not trust me, let us continue onward. That which lies beyond this door will show you all that happened back then.
Музычка нагнетает. Какого хрена? Гора соли? Эпицентр взрыва. Чтобы раньше не находилось в этом месте, сейчас осталась лишь горстка соли.
This is the scene of the crime. Havria's body dissipated, leaving nothing but these traces of salt. Her dying moments have since been frozen in time to this very day.
Ее убили.
The story continues that some among her people realized at last that this gentle, kind, but weak god could never protect anyone in wartime. The Archon War was cruel in the extreme. Instead of consigning her to the agony of defeat, they thought perhaps it would be better to give her a quick release.
But what about these statue thingies?
Ну, это она бомбанула напоследок.
No matter how weak the god, the power that flows forth when they are slain is beyond the strength of mortal coils to bear. Those who could not flee were thus transformed. Those of her people who were untouched by this disaster left for Liyue, where they sought refuge with Rex Lapis. Their descendants feared Havria's remnants and lived in terror that she had laid upon them an eternal curse. So they risked their lives to come here, to break the sword, and offer up obeisances in hopes that her anger might be appeased. But they need not have done so. For how could a god who had never once resisted, even till the end, nurse hatred for her people in her heart?
Even if this is so, I can't. This must be a lie. A false history, all of it.
Ну ты посмотри.
Dare try to shake my faith.
Пока.
Yikes. Zhongli didn't show any mercy this time either.
А чё, нормально, по-моему, все по факту рассказал, показал.
This is the price she must pay, yet I would not call it a bad thing.
Согласна.
Judging by how she appeared, I fear that she will struggle for a time. But even if she may not escape that struggle immediately, simply recognizing the truth is good enough for now.
А ты сам откуда знаешь?
Indeed. In ages past, Havria's story served as a warning to me as well. Faith in a god who has already passed will do you no good. So it is for Havria, and so it is for Morax also. All right then. Now, would you like to accompany me in taking a trip to Guyanstone Forest?
Huh? What do you want to do, Zhongli?
Treading old ground, telling old stories. One cannot help but be reminded of old acquaintances.
Вау. Сжимал что-то в руке. Поза выражает предельные усилия. Должно быть, это сделал он. Угу. И такая история здесь есть. Угу. Все боги по-разному погибают тут. Архонты не суть. Тогда, видимо, вообще как бы жестокие времена были, я так понимаю. И типа, это как бы все. Если Архонт не может с другими сражаться и не может побеждать, это типа все, капец. Пиши пропало. Добрая каша классно, но добро на хлеб не намажешь. А вот и мы. Ну что?
Now, I mentioned before that many gods of old have been sealed beneath the Guyanstone Forest. The Adepti have presently handed Liyue over to mortals, and Havria's time was even further in the past. The Salt Chalice and Salt Ruler that she left behind should not return to Liyue. To leave them here is to let them slumber. And it is also a homecoming. I ended an era with my own two hands. I've always wondered how I should remember that which I ended. History records, but history may be changed. This incident proved that. Time is a mighty force, and history's twist in its flow. I need to find a better way of recording history in order to engrave its truth. Stone carvings were one such ancient method, but unchanging stone, immovable earth, even one such as myself. Someday we may all disappear.
Zhongli.
Therefore, I thought of you, traveler. You are one who crosses the celestial atlas, and who passes through countless worlds. If our history is engraved in your memory, it will one day accompany you into another world. As long as a traveler like you is able to record what happened, then a backup of sorts will exist for times and tides of Tevat.
Sounds like tough work.
Now then, it is time that we consigned both the Salt Chalice and Salt Ruler to the sea.
Huh? Why do we need to throw them into the sea?
As I said before, this is the place to which the remnants of many bygone gods are consigned. This includes Osial, overlord of the Vortex, who the Jade Chamber most recently returned to this ocean prison. Thousands of years ago, the Adepti and I fought against the turmoil that plagued every corner of this land. Guyan Stone Forest, where I sealed many gods with my spears. After so long, naught but folk tales remain. Osial, you and I were foes, but our ancient grudge is but a bygone memory now. May that which Havria has left behind be yours to subsume. And thus another spark of divinity departs from Liyue. My legacy shall now be left to those who come after to debate.
Вау! Круто!
I will remain here for a while. I fear that moments of reminiscence like this can only grow fewer.
Мне немножко жаль Архонта Соли. Ну, как бы, вроде бы добрая была. Получила по щам за это.
We did not measure right and wrong
Ну да,
during the days of the Archon War in the same manner as we do today.
я так и поняла.
Of course, as I am now, I only wish that she could have lived in a gentler time.
Угу.
Though the Salt Chalice and Salt Ruler do have power in their own right, they are nothing before Osial. If a day comes when he should recover his strength and return, I believe that even so, he will be defeated once more.
Что будешь делать теперь?
That is a good question. In the past, I might have given you a most specific answer. But now, yes. I suppose I will continue in my role as a consultant at Wangsheng Funeral Parlor. But if this journey was to your liking, why don't you come along the next time I am seeking to preserve memories of Liyue's past?
Да, всегда обращайтесь, пожалуйста. Ой, 5 указаний о золоте. О, спасибо, вот это нам надо. Вот это было здорово. Погоди, а у Венди, получается, у нас не было квеста, да? Бог песен, глава 1. Вот что нам еще нужно выполнить тогда. У бога ветров тоже должно быть очень интересный квест, как и у бога земли. Чем я только его не называю, но только неправильно. Игра, не вылетай, держи себя в руках, все хорошо, мы справимся. Тебе всего лишь нужно Венти загрузить. Но мне очень нравится, как они первых наших 2 архонтов, с которыми мы познакомились, насколько они их разными сделали. Просто вот небо и земля. О, кстати. Точно! Действительно! Тогда это все объясняет.
Hey, look over there! She's all by herself, right? Because she's acting as if she's talking and laughing with somebody else. Paimon's creeped out.
Ну знаешь, у меня тоже в детстве был воображаемый друг.
What? You mean you used to act like that too?
Ну не настолько явно, но...
So, is this an invisible friend who hangs out with you sometimes? Or imaginary? Imagination. Oh, you must mean imagined friend, right? Why didn't you just say so? So, this imaginary friend of yours, when does Paimon get to meet them?
Мы больше не играем.
Seriously? So, imaginary friends just disappear when you grow up?
Ну, типа того.
Oh, Paimon was looking forward to meeting yours. Hey, don't suppose your brother has an imaginary friend too?
Конечно, был.
No way! You guys are so lucky! Because they have this game in Liyue. Have you heard of it? It's a 4-player game, but it seems you guys could play it with just the 2 of you.
Oh, Traveler. Fancy meeting you here.
Tone-deaf bard. What are you doing here?
I'm here because Lisa has been making some exciting new contraptions.
Why does the thought of Lisa's contraptions make Paimon so nervous?
Come now, that's no way to speak about the elegant Miss Lisa. For this particular contraption, Lisa had to import some dangerous materials from Sumeru.
Dangerous?
Looks like a monocle, but actually it's called an anemone detector. Sadly, Lisa isn't able to use it herself, so I'm borrowing it for a while. And also, I'm testing it out for her, to see if it actually works.
Huh? Why can't Lisa use it?
Perhaps it's because she lacks a certain childlike sense of wonder. Or maybe there's some other reason for it. If you want to know for sure, just ask her yourself sometime.
So you can see them? Go on, tell us. What does his imaginary friend look like?
That would be telling. Anyway, it's all yours now, traveler. Take a look. See if you can see Nora's imaginary friend.
О, боже мой!
Do you see him? Do you see him?
Работает!
So it does work for you too.
Paimon wants to see? Wait, but this gizmo isn't in Paimon's size. Alright then, you'll just have to be Paimon's eyes on the ground. Let's go see what everyone's imaginary friends look like.
Ура!
Flora from the flower shop always seems kinda floaty-headed, you know? Paimon bets she has an imaginary friend.
There it is! Behold, a floaty imaginary friend for floaty-headed Flora! A bloaty floaty!
Wait, imaginary friends can be plants now?
Hi, Traveler. Hi, Bard.
Привет, Флора, можно тебе задать вопросик?
Sure. How can I help?
Расскажи нам о своем друге.
Oh, you mean Mr. Floaty? Most people can't see him. Mr. Floaty is my bestest friend. We grew up together.
No fair. Paimon hates feeling left out.
О,
Flora, why exactly are you friends with a bloaty floaty?
What's wrong with it? I always wanted to be friends with a plant who could fly.
Friends with a flying plant? Why?
Because then when it's windy, you and your friend can fly off into the sky together. You gotta admit that's pretty cool.
Isn't that called being blown away?
That's what some people like to call it. I only found out this plant existed from an explorer who told me stories of his adventures. I think his name was Stanley. Stanley's an adventurer. And you can tell he's an expert at it from the stories he tells. The amazing adventures of Stanley are super famous in Mondstadt. He's in the city at the moment. You should go ask him to tell you some of his stories.
That sounds like a fun idea for next time. But right now we have other things to attend to.
подсматривать на воображаемых друзей и людей.
Flora's a pretty mysterious kid.
Which child shall we interrogate next?
Paimon's thinking. Oh, how about that little guy on the bridge?
Ого! Мощно.
No way!
Well, that is unexpected.
Timmy's imaginary friend is a ruin guard? Paimon's freaking out right now. That thing is sure to attack us.
What say you we postpone our conversation with Timmy for the time being?
Huh? Paimon has a favorite line?
Давай пока не пойдем туда.
Seriously? Oh, alright then. How about we explore the area ahead of us later? Children are more open-minded. Is that why they can think up all kinds of imaginary friends?
Fitting, isn't it? That the city of freedom should be home to children with such boundless powers of imagination.
Он такой, все в меня.
What about adults' imaginations? Let's ask some adults at the tavern.
Вау, сколько всего интересного происходит. Пока что остановимся и продолжим приключения в следующих сериях. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Пока, до следующих видео.